And hello, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, Sorin's Journey. Today we're finally moving into Endwalker, which is personally my favorite expansion. I know, I know some people who would disagree with that, but Endwalker is definitely something I've been hyped reaching us, Sorin. So last time was a bit of a shorter one, but we had the big instance where the Telephoroi were attacking Cardano. We thwarted their plans to destroy the etheric convergence, or confluence. Convergence or confluence, one of the two. But we still don't know exactly what they're up to, and it seems the most likely place we can find Archons is Sharlayan. Which is, led to last stream the, rather upsetting moment of Alizé and Alphino getting on the spot disowned by their father. But Kryle's been working on a way to try and get us all to Sharlayan. Let's see if there's been news. Alphino? How are things? Sorin, do you have some time to talk? Of course. I would like to gather everyone in Dawn's Respite and together assess the situation in which we find ourselves. Let us take stock of the facts, shall we? The crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of ominous towers in a multitude of locations throughout the world. We have since learned that said structures were brought into being by an organization known as the Telephoroi. Oh, just in time. Hello, Minnie. Welcome to the stream. Just in time, indeed. You only missed my probably poor recap of what happened last time. The Teleforoi's stated purpose is to recreate the final days of aeons past. An apocalyptic event that would result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already have these towers of theirs been the cause of untold suffering. Countless innocents kidnapped and imprisoned. Their faith perverted for primal summonings. And unless we can find a way to deal with the corruptive aura surrounding the spires, we can't even get close enough to rescue anyone. Those shielded with the blessing of light seem to be able to resist being tempered, at least. But after what happened to Arenvold and Fordola, we need to be very, very careful about how we proceed. If all these threats close at home are of paramount concern, we mustn't lose sight of the situation in Garlemald. As you know, the Telephoroi are under the leadership of Fandaniel, and one other delightful fellow, Zenos Galvas, the Crown Prince and our dear friend. To date, he's reclaimed his old body, murdered Emperor Varus, and plunged Garlemald into an even deeper pit of chaos. The capital has probably seen the worst of it. For a good while there, it saw the bloodiest fight in dwarf succession. But that has since changed, and in troubling ways. Fandango. Wait, did I say Fandango or did I say Fandaniel? I did say Fandaniel, right? Aye. During our reconnaissance, the air was not once rent by the barking of cannons or the cries of discord. It was an eerie fog of silence which did blanket that ruined city. Oh, you're just messing around. Good. I'm not making mistakes like that this early into the stream. The inhabitants appear to have been tempered, and with narier words spoken did they labor to transform the palace into a soaring edifice born of nightmares. If they were indeed made thralls, it seems safe to assume that these events too were orchestrated by the Telephoroi. An army of primals is awful enough, but in light of recent developments, I fear it is only the prelude to an even greater catastrophe. We need to devise a means to counter this threat, and quickly, before our allies are overwhelmed. Right, but where do we start? We will find a way in Sharlayan, I'm sure of it. Master Fortuno's comments regarding the final days were curious to say the least. Form knows more than it's letting on. I'm sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from Mistress Kryle. She says that arrangements for your visit have been finalized. Then you're to head to Limsa Laminsa and board the next ship bound for Sharlayan. And on arrival, present yourselves as associates of the students of Baldesion. Come to assist with the Order's restoration. Right. Guess I'm finally going to see Sharlayan itself. The arrangements may be settled, but what of your thoughts? They must race at the prospect of returning home after so long. Time for Sorin to go to college. I am eager to see it, of course. Of course. We shall set off at once. Then I'll accompany you to the docks. You need at least one person there to wave and cry and wish you a safe journey. Well, Alphino, let's be off. Back to Limsa. When I think about it, the last time we gathered at these docks was when we were heading off on our way to Doma for the first time. That feels like so much has happened between now and then. All right. Everyone? What a grim reason to bring you to Sharlayan. Not much to be done about it, I suppose, but I would have liked to give you the grand tour under happier circumstances. It's not something we can always have a choice in. Though a part of me looks forward to returning home, I've not forgotten that my father stripped us of the privileges of our family name. I hope it doesn't cause trouble with the officials upon our arrival. Maybe he hasn't officially made that decision, right? I might have lived in Master Matoya's cave for a good part of my life, but even for me, the thought of returning to Sharlayan is quite exciting. I can hardly imagine how it is for the others who lived most of their lives there. Sea travel can be tedious, but I don't mind it. It's a rare experience for most Ishgardians. Suppose it would be. It's fairly landlocked, isn't it? And any water nearby Ishgard is frozen. I never thought the day would come when I would be sailing home again. It always seemed so very far away. I shudder to think what manner of truth awaiteth us beyond the Indigo Deep. Still more do I dread the prospect of discussions long overdue. I think I know what Urianger is already thinking about. Contrary to what you might think, this will be like going home for me as well. I may have learned how to survive in Limsa Lominsa, but it was in Sharlayan where I was taught, quite relentlessly I might add, the skills to properly live. Everyone's here, which is good, because I've already paid for your passage, and the fee is non-refundable. The ship for Sharlayan should be pulling into port soon, so please follow me and have all your luggage close at hand. There it is. Oh, is that the Lalafell in the yellow outfit? She's part of a quest line, isn't she? Yeah, like, isn't she into rogues?
They've almost finished loading our cargo. We should be ready to depart right on schedule.
Sorry, I just kind of noticed her. So I just glanced back at the other super, and the green Lalafell she was talking to, was that? I feel I recognized the Lalafell in the green as well, but the one in the yellow, she was definitely. She's kind of like that kind of vaguely antagonistic Yellow Jacket in the Rogue storyline, I think. It's just an interesting little background detail.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief. Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louisois of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
Is that how Banquet became a Scion?
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Will this be your first visit to Sharlayan, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
We're all friends here now.
Better.
Taru?
Are you alright, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
I think the Alfie would be asking it. Yeah. I'm trying to remember, I think in... Yeah, I think in the Japanese version it is a matter of using honorifics that Estinians call him out for. If I remember correctly, Alphino refers to him with the Dono honorific. Dono is one I'm not entirely sure of the correct usage for. I feel it's a bit of an old-fashioned honorific, if I understand it. Yeah, like it's... I know it's not like he's... Yeah, I know the term is more... It's more one of respect rather than kind of acknowledging seniority.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland. It's just... we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hellbent on destroying the world.
That is a...
And, once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends.
I suppose it must be tough for her. Every time we've gone off, she's always... And it wasn't all that recently that we were all off in a completely different world without her. Don't worry, Tataru. I got them all back before. They'll all come back this time.
I'll hold you to that.
Ah, good. You're still here.
Hoi Boulder. Coltonay.
this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return.
That's certainly reassuring.
We will too, of course. Aye. We, your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn, will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
That's right. We're not the only Scions. Thank you, Hori.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Sharlayan!
I guess that's us.
It's time.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey, and please, please, be careful.
Off we go.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A fate beyond the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent.
Yeah, forgot to end it now.
And there,
Yep.
in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Best narrator.
Here. Feel.
This is kind of meant to kind of evoke the
Think.
the 1.0 beginning, like opening, isn't it? I know I've kind of watched
Day
compilation.
has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt.
I just remember watching a compilation of 1.0 cutscenes.
Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself. In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Sharlayan should be coming into view at any moment.
I might do that. Fresh air would definitely help me wake up. Is that... from Mordona? Are you...
My voice yet reaches you. I am glad.
Eidolon?
Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face at last. My warrior of light, guided by the crystal.
Why are you... suddenly... You've been silent for so long.
After your sojourn in the First, I believe you have your answer. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Eidolon has always been, a primal.
That's...
Zodiac was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield.
You're growing weaker?
Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms. Monumental, which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it.
Is Telephoroi really
You
that
truly
big a threat?
understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable. Then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks. Sharlayan's just over yonder.
Where...
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again.
I suppose you're not wrong. Is this really so important? Even before, she's never appeared like that. Nope. See, the others are awake. More teens. Yeah.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Not quite.
Then let's
It's
go.
a bit
Let's
distracted.
go. Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Sharlayan.
Oh, I see it.
That's Sharlayan.
Home. Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you?
I do love the Endwalker theme.
Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side, I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival,
Adopt the kid.
we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper.
We're all already family.
There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
Right. So he basically asserted herself as their Hondo. Just a, well, if he doesn't want them, I'll have them. There we go. Endwalker.
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets. Once, they deigned to accept foreign students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Ala-Megan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
Old Sharlayan. Sorin's finally arrived.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next then? Entry applications?
I guess more
Hopefully
paperwork?
they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlayan only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders. Especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
So is there anything we should be cautious of?
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions.
Right.
Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration.
Right, so we're here to help
Grahatir,
students.
It might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we?
Right. Just don't mention the Scions and make sure we're here to help out.
We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Vrahat here of the Students of Baldassian at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
That sounds like it should go smoothly, right?
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Right, so that's everyone but me and Astinian, isn't it? Or I suppose
Ishtola rule.
Alphino and Alizé aren't Archons, they're native Sharlayans.
See how it glows? That list is etherically linked with the citizen registry kept in the main repository.
Huh. They...
I've
just for
confirmed
immigration?
your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home.
I suppose their mastery of magic would be second to none here with all the...
Now, who do we have here?
They...
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alizé Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny.
Oh. Is that...
And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
We shall keep that in mind.
Is something going on, Sharlayan?
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Right. Hello.
Name and occupation?
Sorin Sherwood, I suppose I'm an adventurer by trade. Really know I'm good enough with...
An adventurer? Well, I suppose that is considered a valid calling in your native Eorzea, and it does indeed match the profile provided. You may enter.
But I think I remember with my main character as Joseph, I went with the artisan, because at that point, Joseph did have, like, minimum level 80 in every Disciple of the Hand. Like, this is valid. This is valid. I'm a master crafter.
And you, sir?
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
Does Estinian actually know what his profession is?
If you'll allow me...
Kryl.
My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Well, that's that over with. It's good to see you again.
Croyle, it is good to see you.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you will seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we?
All right.
Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
Oh, and it's snowing all of a sudden. I am unaccustomed to fabricating lies on demand. Why should it matter how I earn my living? I don't know if I can really give him a satisfactory answer. Here we are at last, the great city of Sharlayan. You may have noticed some similarities with the Crystarium, yes? In fact, we really should let Croyle have her say first. We can continue this conversation at another time. Oh, hello, Alphino. I'm fine, honestly. Better to be waved through with a stern warning than be denied entry, after all. I suppose I can kind of see some similarities. So Graham based his idea for the Crystarium off of Sharlayan. Just remember that both Lilith and Seri had low crafting clauses, but they still passed with. Yeah. See, I feel it would make more sense for Sorin to. I'm a level 12 Weaver. So I feel like Sorin would kind of feel like I know a bit of gold crafting, like gold work smithing, but I don't. I feel like if they asked me to demonstrate my skills, I'd probably be denied entry. So let's just be honest. Ooh. Also reminds me randomly, I did update all Sorin's glams for his different classes for Endwalker now. The Reaper is the same as it was before because I didn't feel there was much point in making a separate Reaper glam just for that one stream I did yesterday. Not yesterday. Friday. That was about as awkward as expected. Still, we're here now, and that's all that matters. Good thing they never asked for demonstration. Allow me to extend unto thee my warmest welcome, Sorin. May the wisdom of my homeland aid us in our endeavors. Even allowing the years I spent in the First passed here in the blink of an eye, the city feels untouched by time. You are doubtless eager to take in the sights. Not to worry, Sorin. The city is not like to vanish before we finish our discussion. I'm glad I spotted your ship coming into port. The officers are born bureaucrats and sticklers for detail. In any case, you may relax and take a moment to get your land legs back. Ooh. New weapon coffer. 5? Yeah, I think I'm good for a while because everything's 530. Did you talk with Graha? I did. You were saying about similarities with the Crystarium. Reaper's my current lowest level job, isn't it? Yeah, so I suppose I might as well get the Reaper experience. Or... I'll swap to Paladin for a little. I feel this suits the cold weather better. Me show my favoritism by always talking grand. I had thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I've learned and how I might proceed. But this is Sorin and Estinian's first time in Sharlayan, and for the rest of you, a homecoming that was long overdue. You must have places you wish to visit, and people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda so that you all may have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Once you've settled in, we can reconvene at the Baldesian Annex. How does that sound? It is a fine suggestion. We may not be welcome at the Levier estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighbourhood all the same. I am equally untethered, as it were. There's no particular place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Work has been coming in bursts, there'll be a batch, and then it gets quiet. Cool. I suppose... I don't know, maybe it's just how my mind works, but that doesn't sound too bad. At least like you're getting your breaks between... Weird how synchronized our customers are today. No, the working in bursts always kind of works for me, because I find it easier to focus in shorter bursts than I do in like one drawn out period, even if that period is less intense. Likewise, a quick tour of our old haunts might even yield some useful gossip. The annex was west of the Ephraite Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, we'll see you there. Urionche? I too have places I would be remiss in not visiting forthwith. Bide I leave. I guess it's us. What of you, Estinian? My services as a guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. But I could... Oh. Well, Raha, would you like to join us then? You've been gone for quite a while, and this would be the perfect way to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Yeah, I suppose as well for Graha, it's been over 100 years for him. Oh, of course, if you will have me. Excuse me? Come, Sorin. Sharlayan awaits. Alright. Let's... I don't know how long we'll be staying here, so I guess it definitely couldn't hurt to learn my way around. Oh dear. This enthusiasm is infectious, isn't it? After you, my friend. I am more than content to follow your lead. My lead? Okay, yeah, I remember how the following mechanic works. I think it's kind of weird mix of knowing it's both past and present for Graha. Yeah. You follow your lead. Yeah. All set? Then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly enough, will be the Last Stand. It's a cafe on the west side of the harbour. Corral is also now accompanying you. I do remember how the follow mechanic works. So, while we're here, is this just more like immigration? With all the unusual wares coming and going at all hours, I expect the assistance of an intrepid adventurer would be highly appreciated. I see no reason why you couldn't undertake any tasks which pique your interest. You have been cleared by the immigration officials, after all. I look forward to the day your name is celebrated in Sharlayan the same way it is in Eorzea. Right, so there's work to be found here? Maybe if there's some downtime, but for now I think we've got our current job's more important. This place is called the Peristyle, and it is the first stop for cargo unloaded at the docks. You'll find the usual necessities for daily living and other imports vital to running an island nation, but also supplies that further Sharlayan's pursuit of knowledge, namely large quantities of books, specimens, and samples. Sorting these stacks certainly seems to keep the attendants busy. The follow mechanic for Godward. Oh yeah, I'm fairly certain that was one I did do. Ethernet. I suppose it's probably for the best I started tuning. Lots of screenshots people took of being oh yeah. So that statue's Faliak, right? No, that is a sight one could hardly forget. The great statue of Faliak. As a student of Baldesian, I was usually quartered on the Isle of Val, but I would gaze upon the scholar's wise features every time I returned by ship to the city. This path leading out to the sea is known as the Faliak Stoa, so named for the statue of the scholar which stands at its end. As you know, the Sharlayan people prize the accumulation of wisdom above all else. Thus, when Faliak was chosen as our patron deity, it was more a matter of pragmatism than belief, an alignment of principles, as it were. We may have honoured him with a rather impressive sculpture, yes, but our faith is not so restrictive as that of, say, the Ishgardians. Individual Sharlayans can, and do, worship the divinities of their choosing. Right. I don't think many places have their religion as ingrained as Ishgard, to be fair. Ah, yes, the Last Stand. Now that is an inviting aroma. This is a restaurant? And here we are, the Last Stand. I may have mentioned this... Excuse me? I may have mentioned this before, but although our research into nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive, the average Sharlayan tends to regard seasoning and flavour with a certain indifference. Ishgard was a theocracy since it's founded. Yeah. Ooh, I suppose, like, well, a theocracy in appearance anyway, though it was really kind of more of a monarchy. Because when you find out, like, it wasn't like they were receiving orders directly from Halone. It was all the Archbishop. How can I put this? The theocratic monarch? No. Yeah, some of that. I think like, from what I understand, a theocracy. So, I might be misunderstanding what a theocracy is, but my assumption of a theocracy is that it's ruled by a god. I suppose a theocratic monarchy would probably be similar, because it did seem more that the ruler of Ishgard was more treated as the archbishop than it was kind of Halone herself. Like when people talked about the ruler of Ishgard, they were talking about Forden, they weren't talking about Halone. The food is, it's bland, and that's encapsulated by our infamous Archon loaf. The prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first and taste a distant second. A system of government in which priests rule in the name of God Ori. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so it would be a theocracy. I wonder if there's a different term then for... a situation where a god would be directly ruling a country themselves. There was one pupil at the studium, however, who could stomach the school's insipid meals no longer. So he quit his lessons and poured all his savings into building a proper eatery. And so the last stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost of fine dining in Sharlayan. The one and only bastion of the culinary arts in an isle of otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being hailed as one of the more impressive items on the menu. Not that I ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were a typical Sharlayan when it came to cheap and convenient, Raha. Oh, so was that Raha speaking before? Oh yeah, that was Raha. I hadn't noticed the name changing. Because you were a typical Sharlayan when it came to cheap and convenient, Raha. But surely Tataru has since taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish. We should all stop in when time permits and sample the cafe's delights. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe there will take us up to the Aephorite Plaza. Right. These ones. Yeah, well, who need Gods of Genshin Impact directly run their. Oh, I didn't know that about Genshin Impact. But yeah, I'm just kind of curious if there is a separate term, or would it just be... Because if the definition of theocracy is a system of government in which priests rule in the name of a god, then that implies that it wouldn't be a theocracy if the gods directly ruled it itself. I suppose, would that be like a divine monarchy or something? This is rather different from any other Aephorites I've seen. Is that the... When I played, you can meet free gods, you do run things? Okay. Cool. It kind of reminds me, I need to... I've kind of abandoned Star Rail. It's not been on my mind recently. The Aephorite looks different from how I remember it. So it wasn't always like this? Cryle? An unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, that it's a perfectly functioning Aephorite. Remember to attune yourself before we move on. Now, being the diligent tour guide that I am, I should make mention of the Confluence, a research facility located on this very plaza. Its much vaunted discoveries are the reason Sharlayan stands at the forefront of teleportation technology. In deciphering the underlying principles of Allagan Aephorites, it allowed us to understand and reconstruct what was essentially a lost art. And off we go to our next destination. Our path leads northeast to the Agora, Sharlayan's largest marketplace. So, the Confluence is this over here? That's the entrance to the Confluence. I have no doubt their expertise will prove useful at some point, so I suggest you remember the way here. Speaking of Aephorites, those teleportation fees do add up after a while, which is why I tended to rely on the far cheaper ferry services. I was pleasantly surprised when Mistress Tataru informed me that the Scions are reimbursed for transportation costs as part of our duties. But I find old habits hard to break. That, and I'd rather not be bothered filling out the necessary paperwork. I was about to wonder if we could get reimbursed for teleportation, but yeah, maybe if there's paperwork I should. just be happy with paying for it out of my own pocket. It's not like I'm particularly lacking for cash at the moment. These little open-air bookstalls are so uniquely Sharlayan. I'd always thought them a common sight until I visited other nations. Huh. Wonder if there's a business for that back in Eorzea. Maybe something to suggest to Tataru. Do you mind if I browse the shelves for a moment? There might be some hidden gems I've yet to read. Only a moment? How optimistic. Feel free to browse all you like, but we won't wait around for you. Perhaps I'll return here later, then. Oh, Graha just wanting to read a bit. So... this is the marketplace? Anything worth cracking my coin purse for today, I wonder? There's the old demoored custom. Welcome to the Agora, where you can find wares made in Sharlayan, as well as a wide selection of imported goods. They also used to sell questionable prototypes from the various research institutes, but I think that practice has thankfully died out, for the most part. Otherwise, I can think of no better place to stock up for your next big adventure. Am I overselling it? On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one which has particular relevance to our ultimate purpose here. We must head back to the Ephraite Plaza, follow the path north, then climb the stairs up to that imposing building at the very top. Oh, there's a new banner today and oh, well, good luck with your pulls, I guess. So, back to the plaza, and then... oh, yeah, the big building. Can't really miss that, can I? Plenty of stairs. That... it's just occurred to me that... why don't they have stairs on this section here? Why is it just a ramp? Because that's a very steep ramp to walk up. Oh, well, I suppose it gets them their exercise if they're sitting at desks all day studying. This is the Nymphaeum, an area dedicated to the blessings of water. For Sharlayans, water represents more than a life-sustaining liquid. It is a reminder of the great flood which precipitated the birth of our nation, as well as a symbol of the knowledge which flows from Faliak's divine Ur. This is the reason you see an abundance of fountains throughout the city, and a propensity for utilizing water as a decorative feature in our architecture. These little decorative features are typical of Sharlayan architecture. Aside from the research wing, our headquarters on the Isle of Val were rather simple and rustic by comparison. Well, so that's why there's a lot of fountains about. Here we go. There's another Ephraite shard. Just give me a moment to attune to this. I imagine Kryle and Graha are already attuned to everything here. So this is... what an invigorating breeze. A touch biting perhaps, but pleasant nonetheless. Aren't there a lot of places in the game that don't have railings? There's a fair few. I mean, that's kind of a railing. I mean, it's safe enough, maybe. Oh yeah, it doesn't have it over there near the Aephraite shard. For all their knowledge, maybe they assume people have enough common sense that they don't need health and safety. Grand structure before you is the rostra. The name refers to the original public platform erected here, upon which a forum of elected representatives would deliver orations and debate policy. Although the stage has since evolved into council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. It's double Lalavan on the other races. No, but I suppose you have to consider, like, if it was high enough to stop other races, Lalafell wouldn't be able to see over it at all. Maybe that's why railings have to be a bit shorter. Otherwise it blocks the view for all the Lalafells. My apologies. From here one can see the entire city spread out below. The vista put me in mind of my arrival in the First. Those who had gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they might go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were all inspired by my knowledge of the finest settlement I could think of, the great city of Sharlayan. And bit by bit, those few buildings grew into a town, a community, the Crystarium. You can almost see its echo. Oh, yeah, it's all the Lalafell's fault. I see. Feel free to come up here whenever you wish. I don't think the councillors would object to you simply enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. Our spectacle of sightseeing concludes with the fittingly named Journey's End. We'll walk down the stairs to the east and continue straight ahead. Journey's End? That's down here. What? That's a pretty large building there. I wonder what it is. That's the House of the Government. Is this? It is pretty huge. Is that the stadium, maybe? This neighborhood is home to the highest echelons of Sharlayan society. I never did feel comfortable enough to wander these streets on a whim. Is this just a... We've arrived at Journey's End. History tells us this was where those who put ashore of Archon Yunkremph built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as the residential district for the most important officials and the oldest Sharlayan families. You'll see that one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbours. That estate belongs to our friends from House Levier. That's Alphino and Alize's house? All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that, we bring our little Sharlayan tour to a close. I hope it has proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now, shall we head directly to the Baldesian Annex? You remember the way, don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbour, cross the bridge to our right, then follow the path below to the Ephraite Plaza. Correct. After you, Sorin. Right. But that's... Alphino and Alize grew up here? It's a veritable palace. I'm feeling... Estinian's title of Little Lordling wasn't actually too far off the mark. I knew their family was important, but definitely compared to the other houses here, it's... I suppose that means being disowned by their father is on top of all the... how it must hurt personally. It must be quite a big deal. Right. we cross this bridge here, as I recall. Stick to the path and be careful not to end up back in Telephoroi Plaza. Sharlayan is full of educational and research institutions, but there are still professors who prefer to establish their own private practices. Not that I ever attended the exclusive schools they run in these residences. Perhaps the twins could tell you more about them. Oh. Oh yeah, well, from the if I'm going to suffer, you'd rather suffer with me. That's the point. But I know I'm no manager, but from what I can see of the effort you put in, Mooney, I feel you've earned it. So I do hope that goes well for you. So there's an Ethernet shard here. So, is this the place? This is it, the Baldesion Annex. Huh, as the joyous look on Raha's face has undoubtedly informed you, this is the Baldesion Annex. If you continue up the hill, you'll arrive on the doorstep of Phenomenon. But I think we've explored enough for one day. We can take you there another time. Inside with you then. You just hope your cousin thinks the same way as me. Yeah. Because no, as well, like I know you definitely seem to be very consistent as well with your working. In a place where it seems that there are several people you work with who don't seem to be entirely consistent with attendance. I'm back, and I've brought Sorin and Raha with me. Ah, you were right about the ship then. Hello, Graha. It's nice to see you again. And it's a pleasure to finally meet you, Sorin. I've heard many a tale of your exploits. Ojika? Ojika Tsunjika. It has been an age. Allow me to introduce Ojika Tsunjika, Administration Officer for the Students of Baldesion. He oversees the day-to-day business of the Annex. You may recall meeting his cousin, Ejika? Oh, yeah, from Eureka. I vaguely recall that. Oh, your sister isn't here again. Oh, there's always something, isn't there? Oh, yes, Eureka. I've read the initial reports. Quite a shock to hear what's become of the Isle. Do take care if you have the opportunity to rejoin the expedition. I've kind of forgotten that I had started Sorin on doing Eureka stuff. This place is like a second home for the students. The Isle of Val served as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Sharlayan, wherever to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies from distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodgings for our members while we engaged in such activities. Ever since our former headquarters, along with the Isle itself, vanished, the annex has served as our base of operations. And yet it feels so empty. With so many lost to us, our organization is a shell of its former self. The day will come when we see the students rise again. But first, we must ensure that the Telephoroi fall. Through that door on the left there is the main hall, where we can discuss our options moving forward. Once everyone arrives, that is. You probably have time to rest before our discussions begin in earnest. I've had private quarters prepared for you in the Andron, so please, feel free to make yourself at home. The nap rooms. Perfect for an afternoon doze. Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. The chambers are quite well appointed. Far more so than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. It was simply that we were often so busy with research, or exhausted from journeys abroad, that we would slip into the Andron just to steal a few winks. And thus they became known among the students as nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well into the following morning. Excuse me. Say the word and I'll be happy to show you to your chamber. Hopefully the others won't be long in coming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. Right. I'll maybe have a bit of a lie down. Or, oh, I suppose we can't just continue. You have the papers pasted on the walls of your room. It was not unusual for occupants to pin up notes or documents and such, and then forget to take them when they went their merry way. Sometimes it was quite deliberate, though. You might see complaints addressed to other members, or a thank you card for the engrossing literature someone left behind. Beloved traditions that I should know better than to dwell upon. If we are to create a future for the students of Baldesion and so many others, we must look to the days ahead. Is there? I don't... Let's have a look at the room. Oh, is that... Efrit? That's Behemoth in Curfus. Okay, no, there's no notes you can actually choose to read. I was just curious for a moment. Right, well, I guess just to wait for the others. Feeling refreshed and alert? Our colleague should be here soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us. Dum dum. Oh. Urianger?
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
It's fine, Urianger. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we?
Right. What's the actual plan?
Come what may, we must prevent the Telephoroi's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Sharlayan, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Sharlayan focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it.
I think I've had a run-in with a bit more of an extreme group of those.
And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous.
No one opposed it?
Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Something that all 99 members feel is more important than the Telephoroi trying to end the world? There's definitely something going on.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldesion. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth.
Is that topmost picture on the wall? Is that... Thrall? It reminds me of one of the pictures we saw, like kind of like teasing like some of the environments that you're going to see in Dawn Trail. I've also noticed the poster on the wall of Good King Mogglmog the 12th, lowering the Muggles down to the earth.
Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nadana, an alchemist residing in distant Thavnair. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal.
I didn't notice it before, because if it was in the game before, I think I was like when I went through it before, the artwork for Dawn Trail hadn't been released. I just remember kind of seeing something that I feel looks similar at the FanFest. And it was a minor, it was like background detail, so I didn't pick up on it the first time. So there's another tower even in Thavnair.
In response to this threat, the satrap of Radzat-Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. It is possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
I guess...
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavnair would seem the obvious choice.
That does feel like it would make sense.
But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnairian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary.
I guess...
Though it is
divide
a
and
great
conquer.
imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts.
On both? Right, I'll see what I can do.
You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Okay.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
So, Grahan and Stola are on Sharlayan team. Huge, outdated map.
Alice and I would also like to help.
Yep.
If you would have us.
Anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course! The more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavner.
I guess it's decided then.
Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavner on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
Right. If I'm deciding where we focus first, I feel I should focus on Thavner. From what Kral was saying, it's something that specifically requires the Blessing of Light. So I think the others can probably make some progress here without me. Though I have read much on the subject of Razahan, this visit shall be my first. 'Twill be interesting to see how the Hanish mean to contend with the tower, different as their magical and technological disciplines are. So it's back to Thavner. Had I known earlier, I would have considered more suitable attire. Well, I have Kral's instructions in hand. If you are ready to set out, and so are we. Having been to Thavner before, I can travel by Aephorite. But what of the rest of you? Another sea voyage would waste time we do not have. Dad, that is his point. It's pretty far away. Kral was of the same mind, and has already secured the aid of the good folk of the Confluence. We'll take ourselves there. The Confluence, thou sayest? I'm afraid so, my friend. Is there something wrong with the Confluence? Thou wilt recall the hunt for Iceheart, unto whose sanctuary we delivered thee owing to the knowledge of our comrade Moonbreeder. That's right. Moonbreeder was an authority on etherology, a field of study she did embark upon in pursuit of her parents' example. Both are authorities in their own right, and both are researchers at the Confluence. Haven't you gone to see them yet? I attempted to do so earlier, but to my shame, my courage failed me at the last. As it hath the many times I fought to reach out to them after sending that fateful letter. Neither time nor introspection have revealed unto me the words I should speak, and thus have I kept my silence. Whether you come with us or no is your choice and yours alone. If it is too difficult, we'll manage. Thou art kind to say so, but I... excuse me. But I have no intention of forsaking our cause. I shall go to the Confluence, and I shall face that which hath long been overdue. If it's settled, then let us be off. When we arrive, we should look for a researcher named Kiat. Right. Moon Breeder, that was... That's right, she and Rionji were close, weren't they? So... this one was the confluence, right? Oh, big doors. These all different types of Ethernet shards? Or... excuse me. Well now, this is rather a lot of stern faces. Are my library books overdue again? Not to our knowledge. We're associates of Krile, the students of Baldesion. We seek passage to Fandaniel and understand that you can assist us. Ah, the test subjects! Welcome, welcome! Test subjects? Oh, you hadn't heard. Well then, allow me to explain. So, in order to travel to an Aephorite, you ordinarily need to be attuned to it beforehand. Otherwise, you can't use it as a beacon to seek out while you're a mess of ether hurtling through the life stream. An inconvenient but incontrovertible limitation of Aephorite teleportation. But what if I were to tell you that there's a way to travel to an Aephorite without being attuned to it? A way to teleport instantly to places you've never been. For long years, we've labored to make such travel possible, that people might move about more freely. And we've finally done it. We've created a new kind of Aephorite that doesn't require attunement. Truly, that changes everything. Well, my language may have been a bit misleading. The user need not attune to these Aephorites, but the Aephorites themselves must have been pre-attuned to each other, thereby facilitating travel between the 2 points. Right, so it's... you can't teleport to it from anywhere, but you can... it's like a door or portal, I guess. But it just so happens that of our first test pair of Aephorites, one has been installed here in Sharlayan, and the other over in Yedlmald, a port town in Fandaniel. As you may know, our nation has long maintained strong ties with Razahan. And indeed, we owe much of this breakthrough to the contributions of their alchemists. So, to sum it up, we're to test these Aephorites. How fortuitous. For you. I should mention that an incident has impaired my ability to channel ether. Will this be a problem? Oh, not at all. As a matter of fact, you might say these Aephorites were made for people like your good self. The magics imbued within will whisk you away without any effort on your part. A veritable dream come true. And far be it for me to worry about such things, but do we have permission to make use of your shiny new invention? The only permission required is yours, so assuming you're willing, we're all set. It may come as a surprise, but we actually struggle to find test subjects. Most people seem to have an unreasonable fear of their souls gradually disintegrating as they drift helplessly into lifestream. In the statistically unlikely event that something goes awry. But it's plain you aren't most people. Mistress Krile truly knows how to pick 'em. I suppose that when you put it like that, it's concerning, but I suppose that's just normal teleportation as well, isn't it? If I might change the subject, our Master Wilferson and Mistress Blueweed are not present today. Oh, you didn't hear? They've recently resigned their posts. Their expertise was needed elsewhere. A large-scale project helmed by the Forum itself, as I understand. But I'm not privy to the details. I see. Large-scale project. I wonder if that's related at all to whatever's distracting them. The thing they think's more important than the Telephoroi. Any other questions? No? Then let's get going before you change your minds. Please see to your preparations and head outside to the Aephorite Plaza. I'll be along shortly. Right. I guess it's maybe just the main Aephorite out there. Graha did say that it was different from when he last saw it, so maybe the new shape has something to do with that. Though words unsaid yet weigh heavy on my heart, I shall devote mine all to our task in Fafnir. Given my experience of teleportation, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have reservations, but I'll trust in Kryl. That's... right, you were caught up in Y'shtola's teleportation magic after Ul'dah. I shall teleport the tried and trusted way. Good luck. Right. Let's see this new technology, I guess. You were looking forward to Sorin's suffering money. Got yoinked into the flow as well, yep.
Right, we're all set. Just the four of you, was it?
I've just noticed that her... I never processed it before, but her earring is an Aephorite. I've not noticed that before. I think just the three.
3. I'm already attuned to the crystal in Fafnir.
You suffer less if you slow your pace to a walking path. Wait, do you?
You are? Oh. I would have preferred more test subjects. Oh, well, never mind. If our 3 travelers could line up here, please.
All right. So, how does this work?
Yes, right there is fine. Take a deep breath, and I'll soon have you soaring through the ether.
Oh, this is a little different.
Oh, and one last thing. You might
yes?
experience a teensy-weensy touch of violent ethereal sickness. Good luck!
Wait.
What?
You ran with Flo for some whole time see for sickness, but Sari walked instead and you killed. Oh, okay. That's cool. I'd not even thought to attempt that. Playing on my main character. Oh, was it raining in Fafnir? Phew.
Fafnir, home to city-state Rads at Han. Rising from the southeast waters of the Bounty, this Isle of Plenty served as the battleground for a conflict between 2 peoples.
Yeah, drop a side effect just as the experiment started.
To one another until a unique amalgamation was distilled from the chaos, in a process not unlike their precious alchemy. Once solidified as a single nation, an adamant stance of neutrality would hold invaders at bay. For a time.
We're here.
Now across this vibrant isle creeps a fog of malice.
So this is...
What choice do you have?
Oh. That's not good.
What chance? Against such an insidious foe.
Carry on, Jay. That is... we're not doing that again.
I've seen fairer faces after a bout of bad shellfish.
At least one of us is doing okay.
Let me bring you something to drink. That should help settle your bellies.
Maybe.
There was a note with Kryle's instructions.
A note?
Don't let a Fandaniel roam the markets alone. He's alarmingly bad with coin.
Not again. I've already seen Tataru's reaction when Alpha knew. Gotta stop him. I can do this. Just a little queasy. You managed to will yourself to your feet, but given your condition, will you be able to reach Justinian in time? I feel like Tataru was the first to catch this about the city. Yeah, I feel Tataru probably has like a sixth sense for kind of like telling, like, this person doesn't know how to finance. No stopping our champion. Now, quickly. Find Justinian before he... No. Right. Don't worry. Okay. Not too bad. Justinian? Oh. Maybe a little slower. Oh, that's... a little further. Justinian? You there. I need free drinks. Something that helps with fever sickness. By the Manus... Manusia? A traveler. I mean, greetings. Greetings and welcome. You are wise, good sir, to come to me. My special amber lassie, made of only the finest and freshest ingredients, is famed for calming unruly bellies. And by way of a warm welcome to Fandaniel, I'm pleased to offer it to you for the low price of 19,800 gil. For not one, not two, but 3 bottles. A bargain amongst bargains. 20,000 gil for... You're right, I'm fancying the first thing that happens is you're about to get scared. No. I mean, I can't say anything about India, but I know the first, when I was in... I was at a market in Africa, in Eswatini, before. And, yeah, being white there, you get... It didn't take long at all before I started having people trying to scam me really badly. Oh, there are... I feel it's not even like limited to certain countries, but if people can recognize you as a traveler, or like someone who's like foreign in a lot of places, they'll feel they can maybe kind of like get around you, can kind of like assume that, oh well, they maybe don't know what the prices are, so maybe I can ramp it up. Because I've heard of similar things happening to people visiting, I think, like Italy and France. This price is high road robbery. You want to say as much to a Stydian. You realize any words of warning you cry out will be accompanied by your last meal. You must stand before a Stydian and, using gestures, deny that the deal is fair. Stydian. Don't. I thought you could barely stand. What do you need to tell me that's so urgent? Wait. I shouldn't buy the lassie. This merchant is swindling me. Serious apologies, sir, but I appear to have my prices confused. It's actually 1,890 gil for the 3 bottles of lassie. You won't point out how Nia's kind of famous for all the scams. Yeah, I do kind of get that. It is playing into a stereotype. But it just kind of had me thinking back to... Oh, yeah, back to my experience in... At African market stalls. I had the interesting thing, though, of getting to... Because I was kind of just, like, wondering... I kind of like sometimes going to markets and just like looking around, just window shopping basically. Especially because I didn't have particularly like a lot of room in my luggage to like be buying any souvenirs or anything. But I think you can tell how... Two things I was able to tell was, one, how much they overcharge you by how quickly and how much they're willing to lower the price once you start haggling. I say haggling though, my attempt at haggling was kind of just being awkward and just going, I'm sorry, I don't really have much money and I'm not looking to buy much. And they kept kind of like in attempt to convince me to buy something, kept dropping the price lower and lower and lower and lower. And I think in the end, he dropped it to something it was like less than 10% of what he'd originally asked, what he was originally saying for it. Oh, I do have to admit, I did eventually cave, but it has become some of the few things I picked up from, like, to bring home, like, for some of the few souvenirs I did have, little ornaments to put on the mantelpiece or on the windowsill. The other thing I noticed was the obvious lies that were being told about it. He had one stall and he kind of wove a story about how all the ornaments, like the stone ornaments on display, were like carved by his son who wasn't doing well. He was a bit ill and he needed money to kind of help pay for medicine. And he kind of goes on telling that tale. And then I visit the next 3 stalls and they all have the exact same ornaments being sold. No, but I do kind of get as well that it is a... Yeah, in Eswatini, I know it definitely is a struggle financially for some people, and they feel the need to do whatever it takes to get some extra money in. So, thought he could just add a 0 onto the end, did he? That confusion would have been quite costly for both of us. Very well then, your coin. Here, a bottle for each of you. Take them to the others and get some rest. Right. 2,000's definitely feels a little more reasonable. Right, just back to the others and I can help them out. Stairs. Not feeling too bad at the moment. Sorin seems fine with with the for sickness. It didn't affect him too bad. Teensy weensy touch, he says. Not even my hardest night's drinking comes close. Urianji seems to be the worst off. Urianji? Here. Try this. Raise B to the 12. My stomach doth loosen its death grip. My heartfelt thanks to thee and Destinian, and to the fine fruits of this land. Tancred? You are in time. Excellent. You've spared us Tatari's wrath. Here, have this. Should make you feel a bit better. Sweet, sweet release. If you haven't already, you should have yours too. Are we all feeling better? Right, I'm ready to get on with it. That lassie truly worked wonders. Right. Maybe not quite enough to justify the price he originally would have charged us, but 2,000, I think, definitely worth it. Back on your feet, I see. Stinian? Thy hair. Aye, I've bound it. 'Tis the most I could do against this heat, short of shedding my armor. May I ask where you got the cord for it? A local vendor. The man said it's Favnarian weave. Tough and not easily unraveled. Estinian? You? And how much did it cost? 9,400 gil. A steal, I was told. There's nothing fancy, but I've always valued function over form. $10,000 for some cord. That's incredible. I dare say not even Alphino could hold a candle to you. I kind of understand what's going on. I've seen it in Uldaha before, but am I the only one who thinks that these numbers are a bit absurd? Like, they can't... If everyone who came through was as a... well, had a similar knowledge to Alphino and Estinian, they can't be assuming that, can they? Why? I am inclined to agree with thine assessment. It doth seem excessive. Unusually so. Claiming Favner as its dominion, the nation of Razahan hath long thrived as a hub of commerce. In the beginning, there were the Archidara, a Matanga tribe indigenous to this island. Right, I've seen Matanga in the Azam Steppe, haven't I? Oh, they were definitely... didn't seem quite as amicable. Over time, they came to be joined by other races, and through their intermingling, a culture rich and distinct did emerge. From alchemy to textiles, The products of Hannish culture have come to be celebrated and coveted the world over. A development only aided by the nation's prime location as a waypoint betwixt east and west. All of this have combined to make a trading power of Razahan. Yet such a status cannot be taken for granted. Nay, it must needs be maintained through judicious governance and stringent regulation. I can't English. Neither of which I see any evidence, given that merchants at a gateway town are afraid to fleece hapless travellers and tarnish the reputation of the nation at large. Just so. That opportunistic pricing is rampant doth suggest that oversight is much weakened. Or mayhap that the people have fallen upon hard times. Whatever the truth may be, it would be prudent to ascertain the current state of affairs. Prudent and practical, aye. We've not to lose by learning more. So, ere we seek out Kral's acquaintance, shall we see what information we can gather here in Yedlamad? Right. Back to investigation. Excellent. We didn't exactly get off to a flying start, but we'll make up for it. Nope. Armor Lassie. Get a couple of portions for Sorin. Be thou assured that I am quite recovered. Lassie is truly a boon for unruly stomachs. Is it truly so amusing to see my hair bound? It is how I used to wear it. A functional fashion. Perhaps you were confused by how you found me following Nidhogg's demise. It had fallen loose after Triurgens removed me from my armor and put me to bed. I simply decided to leave it that way for a time, seeing as I would not don the Azure Dragoon's helm again. Right. I'm just still more concerned about how much you're willing to pay for Horde. So. Right, let us split up and make inquiries in town. Sorin, the pier is yours. Once we've learned what we can, we regroup by Telephoroi. Off-putting the mere sight of it may be. Right. I suppose speaking of Telephoroi, I should probably attune to it. I don't want to have to go through that again. I've got to get rid of this little exclamation point. Thank you. Right. So just some investigation. Excuse me. Well now, it isn't a traveller. You're a rare sight in these unsettled times. People have been giving us a wide berth since that accursed tower suddenly appeared on Naranair. If it just stood there and loomed ominously, perhaps things would be fine after fashion. But no. Had to spew fell fiends as well. We still have our lives, thanks to the Radiant Host, but business is as good as dead. What'll become of us, only the gods know. Tower's been... Right. Does feel pretty close. Definitely closer to civilization than the ones I saw in Vilbrand and Fandaniel. These looks like they've been sitting here a while. Nope, another burst of work done. Yeah. I kind of was starting to figure it out. That was the case when you were getting quiet. For a trading hub, it does seem a little quiet. Ariange was wondering if they'd fallen on hard times. So, has trade just dried up with the appearance of the towers? Excuse me. Do you mind if I ask a few questions? What am I doing? Oh, recording my sales. Still do it daily out of habit, though I don't know why I bother. Hardly sell anything these days. Business has never been this terrible, but I suppose things could be even worse. I could have a consortium to keep afloat. Like Kazal. Oh, Kazal? Can't believe we're about... This year really has gone by pretty quickly. I don't envy his position. Better to be alone with my little operation, I've come to realize. You're a traveller by the looks of you. If you have a moment, perhaps you could pay Kazal a visit. He'd be glad for tidings from abroad. Like as not, you'll find him at Saltwind Sales, at a Harbour Guild building across the water from here. That one? I guess there's no harm in having a talk. Excuse me. I'm looking for... Kazal? Am I pronouncing that right? The Dalmaskins aren't coming. We already have everything they ordered. What are we supposed to do with it? I don't know, but yelling at me isn't going to help. All I know is that their plans have changed and that's that. Look, you must have known this might happen. The Empire is at war with itself and the provinces are in chaos. Then there's the tower sitting on our doorstep spitting out monstrosities. The city has its defences, but we've been afforded no protection out here. We can't blame foreigners for not wanting to take the risk. This will be an enormous loss. Alright. Forget about the Dalmaskins. Surely some ships are still coming. We have fresh produce, handicrafts, medicines. All the perennial Hannish favourites. Our consortium works closely with merchants and artisans to supply only the finest wares. Quality is guaranteed. I know all these things, Kazal. I do. Which is why I regret to say I have nothing for you. All voyages have been cancelled or indefinitely postponed. You just remembered who this guy is? Yeah. And you are... Oh. Wait, you're a foreigner, are you not? A merchant? Please tell me you're a merchant. I'm sorry to say, I'm not. I see. That's a shame. Are you remembering more who he is, or what he becomes? I'm sorry, but we're discussing important matters. If you need something, please talk to one of the others. Oh. Excuse me. Oh, nope. My name is Matsya. I'm here to see Kazal. I think he's a little busy. Huh. It seems he's busy. I'll come back later then. Things definitely do seem a little rough here. I'd not thought about the economic problems these towers might cause. Excuse me, sir. Yes, can I help you? I was wondering if I could help you. I remember seeing you back in the guild. You wanted to speak with Kazal too, did you? I'm Matsya, a fisherman of Akyali, a nearby village. I sell my catch to Kazal, who offers it to foreign merchants, but he hasn't bought anything for a while now. When I heard the consortium had been struggling, I became worried and decided to come and see him. Just as soon as he's free, anyway. He's a hard-working man, and I dare not disturb him. Right. Everyone's starting to struggle. If I may ask, what is it that you do? I'm an adventurer. An adventurer, you say? And you travel the world helping people? That must mean you're great at dealing with strangers. Please, won't you teach me to be like you? Like me? You see, I've brought some fresh fish with me. The portion I couldn't preserve, and I want to sell them. The problem is I'm terrible with people. I've ever only dealt with Khalzal, and I can't talk to customers without getting my trunk in a twist. So please, as silly as it might sound, will you not peddle the fish in my stead and show me how it's done? I can try, I suppose. Maybe doing so will help me figure out a little more about the problems going on here. If you're willing, please let me know, and we can begin at once. Events to follow cannot be skipped. You may wish to cancel any pending duty finder registrations. Oh, yeah, this is one of those the quiz minigames, isn't it? You'll do it then? Show me how to deal with customers. I'm in your debt. Right, please try peddling my fish to, shall we say, free people here in Yedlamad. I will observe you and learn. Oh wait, is it? Matsu's a character that really grew on me through the expansion. Oh, yeah, he does get a bit more development, doesn't he? Is he? No, he's not involved in the. I was wondering if he was. I'm trying to. Is he involved in the? I've forgotten this name of the. They're not Matanga. Let me backtrack through the chat. What's... So this is, No, I'm going back too far to... it's... Argasadara. That's it. Argasadara. Yeah, that's it. No, but yeah, yeah, I know the Matanga, the more hostile ones. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if he's involved in the tribal quests for them. Hello, sir. Yes. Selling fish. Oh. We just start casually? How are you doing? Greetings to you too. I suppose I'm well enough, given the circumstance. Things have settled down somewhat, but it was utter chaos when that tower first appeared. Everyone grabbing whatever they could, trampling over each other to get to the city. Many remained there for now, but I could not stay away. I had to come back. Continue with my life, such as it is. Whether or not it was the right choice, only time will tell. I can understand that. It's hard to just uproot everything and move, isn't it? Just... You're being careful, right? Oh, trust me, I don't. I make sure to keep well clear of the tower, and when more monsters emerge from it, I heed the Radiant Host's instructions. I hope they deal with it soon so we can get back to our normal lives. To the days when you could earn as much as you gave. Tuck into a meal satisfied that you did good work. Well, speaking of meals, you can still enjoy them. I got some fresh fish here today. Fresh fish, you say? Oh, you're a fishmonger. When you bait me like that, how can I not bite? Very well, give me some of your fish. thank you for your custom. The catch of today is shallows cod, delectable stewed in coconut milk, or baked with a sprinkle of salt. You succeed in making a sale. Right. You see how... that you should make a sale on the first attempt. I've learned a lot already, and I hope to learn more still. I think it comes down to just getting to know who you're talking to a little bit. Everyone's different, so you can't always assume that people will have the same reaction. You totally... that's how you didn't think... Yeah, I think I did the same when I was doing it originally. I think I kind of came on too strong with the fishmonger persona. But no. Will Sorin get a free for free? Yeah, it's easy to be too aggressive. Yeah, it kind of fits for Sari. A hawker, are you? Do you sell fruit by any chance? If so, I want to buy some armor. Let's say a dozen. They don't need to be of export quality. I don't really have fruit. So I'm curious. What do you need it for? Oh, why, for eating, of course. It may seem like a lot, but of late I go through that much in no time at all. I'm a stock taker by trade, but with no vessels coming these days, the wares are beginning to pile up. By the same token, nothing is coming in from overseas. Not a day goes by that someone doesn't come asking when the next shipment is arriving for this and that, this and that. All of it wears me down, and I find myself feeling constantly hungry. I can really imagine. Thank you. A pity you don't sell fruit, but I enjoyed our little chat. It took my mind off my troubles for a moment. Oh. Do I not get a... Oh. Never mind. If nothing else, you left her with a positive impression. Let's move on to the north side of town, shall we? I thought I could have followed that up with kind of, I know how you feel. Now, I don't have fruit, but I've got fish. Wasn't aggressive enough that time with the sale. Well, I am an adventurer, so you'll have to forgive me for not knowing exactly what I'm trying to do here. Right. Oriange. Tis a storehouse like any other at first glance. Yet in contrast to its scale, there is a distinct lack of activity. Right, so this is maybe somewhere they'd have use for... excuse me, sir. What is it? If you don't mind, I'm rather busy. Oh, it's my stomach. You okay, sir? For sickness? No, nothing so unusual. In my hurry to get back to work, I just ate a little too quickly. You... Yeah, maybe if his stomach's feeling queasy, maybe offering him more food immediately isn't a good idea. I know times are tough, but you shouldn't rush your eating too much. I would that I could, but I can't afford to be idle. Like as not, circumstances will surely get worse before they get better. And so I'm working as hard as I can while I still can. Better to be prepared. Well, preparing in What way? By stockpiling supplies. For that, I need to earn coins so I can buy food, medicine, what have you. Maybe I shouldn't take all of this on myself. Mattia, do you think we have anything that can help? We do have some dried products too. Fandaniel cucumber and papaya fish. They're the last of the batch, so if you're interested, you can have them for a discount. Truly, by all means, I'll take them all. Hey, you did it. You remembered what I told you earlier, that I preserve what I catch, which serves to show the importance of being attentive. There we go. Thank you so much for your demonstration. It was truly eye-opening. It was a truly eye-opening experience. Come, let us return to the pier. Hey, 2 out of 3 is not bad. I don't think I got any sales with my main character. He said papaya. Oh, papaya. Papaya. Yeah, okay, now it's in my head as well. Pretty sure Mattia is doing better than most folk there after those two. Yeah. And at the end, he got to actually, you know, make... He kind of made the sale himself. Sorin just kind of laid the groundwork. Thank you so much for showing me how to talk to customers. No problem. Just glad I could be of help. You managed to sell to 2 of the 3 people you approached. Adventurers do indeed have great conversational skills. Watching you at work was very enlightening. By applying the lessons I've learned, I hope to one day peddle as well as you. I'm sure you will. Still, there's only so much I can do alone. I hope that things will return to normal for Kalzal soon. I thought I heard a familiar voice and... Oh, I thought I heard a familiar voice. Who should it be but Mattia? Oh, that's Kalzal. Kalzal, have you finished your business at the guild? So you were there too. Forgive me. Try as I might, I can't find any buyers. With no ships coming in and hardly any going out, there simply aren't options. At this rate. So, you can't buy my fish anymore? I'm sorry, Mattia. I truly am. But for now, you must peddle your own goods. But by myself, I can't... I want to help you. I do. But as it stands, I can barely help myself. I've poured my all into the consortium, and I'll be damned if I let it fall apart. I've friends and family depending on me, and I can't. I won't fail them. The sisters as my witness. Sad if he hadn't given up as he did, he could have... Yeah, it's... Kalzal... Not to worry. Using what I've learned from you, I'm sure I'll manage. Somehow. Well, I had best return to my village. My thanks again, and please take care on the road. Situation really isn't doing well. Wonder what the others found out. I suppose that maybe explains the prices of some things. If there are so few travelers coming through, they need to... If they see someone they can get a lot of money out of, they don't want to turn up that chance to secure their safety for a little longer. I see you've been busy. Managed to learn a tidbit or two, I trust. Mostly just that Yetlamad isn't doing well. I see. We've also heard that the tower is affecting many locals' livelihoods. I think it would be to such an extent. For another notable, if not wholly unexpected discovery, disappearances and kidnappings are disturbingly commonplace. As before, the culprits are almost certainly tempered Imperial soldiers. And as before, they mean to use the faith of their hapless thralls to call for lunar primal. Business as usual for the Telephoroi. Right. So... that's something that we need to put a stop to. That Matsya fellow you were helping. He's Arkazadar, is he not? He is. Apparently it is almost exclusively his people that are being kidnapped. Should he be traveling alone? You think he's in danger? If summoning is this perpetrator's aim, it doth stand to reason that Arkazadar would be their primary targets. For it is the faith of their ancestors which prevaileth in this land, and many are devout adherents still. We'd better go after him. Akyali lies to the west, as I recall. The same direction as Kral's acquaintance, incidentally. It's settled then. Keep your eyes peeled while we make for the village. Right. Don't want anything happening to him. Not after... register my name here. Also, given we're in Fandaniel. Any sign of him? I don't see him around, but I don't see any signs of trouble either. Aquila? Having to get used to the normal movement speed again. And oh, that's a hunt mark one. Right. Bit of a better view from here, but still no sign. No! Leave me alone! Help! Somebody help! That's Matsya's voice. It's coming from this way, right? This is where your Fenrir bikes come in handy. Ooh. I'm sorry, does it just like give you the max speed automatically without needing the Imperials? Care for fuel? All right. There we go. Matsya? Are you okay? They didn't hurt you? Huh? Where did they go? Why are you here? Oh, I see you found him in time. Sorry, I realized once you left that Archons have been kidnapped, right? You and your friends came to look for me. I don't know how to thank you. On my way home, I took a moment to stop and rest. Think about what to do about, well, everything. And then those men came. Kidnappers. We'd heard that the Archons were being targeted. Surely you have as well. Perhaps it's best if you took refuge in the city. We've considered it, me and the others, but fishing is all we know. The ocean all we have. I see. That's your decision to make, but you should take care not to travel alone. A question, if I may. 'Tis our understanding that strange fiends have emerged from the tower. What canst thou tell us of these beings? Not much, I'm afraid. I have no idea what they are. But I've heard that some bear an unsettling resemblance to our divinities. For that reason, some have taken to calling the tower Zot. House of Divinities in the old tongue, it means. But they're not true divinities. They're monstrous imitations that bring only death. To have one's faith so twisted is a grievous indignity, and full justified art thou in thine outrage. Know that 'tis for no other purpose but to neutralize the tower that we have journeyed to this land. In time we may be forced to contend with these false gods, and thus we would learn all that we may about them. Wilt thou not tell us of thy divinities and their true nature? You've come all this way to save us? Really? To think I had you peddling fish. But to answer your question, yes, of course. We would gladly tell you about our gods. We, I say, because I'm a terrible storyteller, and I'd ask my fellow villagers to do it. Oh, it is. It is a pretty rough dungeon. Oh, but I kind of like it. I'm interested to see as well, like, the original Tower of Zot in Final Fantasy. Because I think, it's in Final Fantasy 4? No, or Final Fantasy 3? Because I think I'll get to see it kind of soonish, because I know once I finish Endwalker, I plan to go back to Final Fantasy 3 and start that. So please, come to our village. We're good God-fearing folk, all of us, and we'd be honored to share our knowledge. And fish. What sayest thou? Shall we pay visit to Akiari? I believe so. Wonderful. Just follow the road west and down the hill. You can't miss it. Yeah, the other dungeons after felt comparatively easier. Yeah. No, I don't remember finding it too bad. It took a while to get used to kind of like the final boss of the dungeon and like reading its attacks. So, 'tis the simulacra of Fandaniel gods that are being summoned. If any doubt existed before, there can be none now. The kidnapped Hanish are imprisoned in the tower. I pray that we will be able to save them. No, indeed, saving them will mean confronting their false gods, like as not. Aye, as you said, we do well to study their religious traditions. To Akiali. The last boss is a test of your reflexes. I can't hear the test of your reflexes without remembering that little, is it Benny G? Did the little animation of the little reflex hammer. Oh, is that it? Familiar though I am with the myths and legends of this island, to hear them spoken by heirs to this storied heritage giveth them new life. Right. Is there anyone you recommend I talk to, Matsya? Welcome to Akyalia, my friend. The name means white beach, and there isn't much here save that, but please make yourself at home. Your companions have already begun talking to everyone. Feel free to show yourself around and do the same. Any one of us can tell you about our gods, but you could do worse than to start with Kanga and old Hasvida. They're free at the moment as it happens. Right. Thank you. Hello. You wish to know about our gods? What a curious visitor you are. Most want fish. In any case, I'm happy to oblige. Now, I don't know how it is whence you hail, but our isle is home to many gods. They can be divided into two groups. The Manusya, beings of wisdom who assume the form of men, and the Murga, beings of might who assume the form of beasts. Together, they are divinities. Their forms and personalities many and varied. Some are kind and gentle, others stern and temperamental, just like we mortals can be. All are possessed of great insight and experience, and by heeding their teachings we strive to be better people and live better lives. Right, so it's different from most worship in Eorzea. I suppose it sounds a little similar to the many kami in Doma and Hingashi. Excuse me, sir. Interested in learning about our gods, you say? Gotta add this, but... Oh, what, you going for it as a healer? Yeah, there are certain dungeons that do definitely feel a little more of a struggle as a healer. I think... Oh, I'm trying to remember the ones I always... I can't remember. There was one I always knew that kind of... It feels like that the way the item level sync works, the tank just takes a lot of damage very quickly. It's one thing to go in as tank DPS, but it's heal. Yes, you play healer if you want stress, Mooney. That's why you play healer. If you don't want stress, don't play Sage. Interested in learning about our gods, you say? That's what I like to hear. Prick up your ears then and listen. In ancient times, the Manusya and the Murga, deities who look like men and beasts respectively, were locked in conflict. Eventually, seeking the wisdom of the Manusya, the Murga cast aside their own heads and took up those of their foes. Likewise, the Manusya coveted the might of the Murga, and so they too resolved to trade heads. Thus were born new gods possessed of both might and wisdom, and they ushered in an age of harmony between the two factions. You know, you had to love... I know you did, but... I mean, you didn't have to. You could have not picked up a healer. You chose to put yourself through that pain, Mooney. You didn't have to do so. From then on, as a sign of their esteem for one another, the Manusya have worn animal faces, and the Murga the limbs of men. Right. I do wonder how that works with summoning a primal. Is it going to be different from the other lunar primals we've fought, and that there might be many of them? That's a troubling thought. There you are. I learned a thing or two about our gods, I trust. I believe I did. While you were off talking to the others, I remembered something that may be of interest. If you could let your friends know, I'll go and fetch it from my home at once. Manja apparently has something he wants to show us. It's your fault for making it true. Yes, I imply you are responsible for your own actions. I would dare imply that. Apologies for the wait. I wish to show you this hanging scroll, which depicts 3 of our most revered deities. By all means, we should like to see it. These are... They are Manusia. You heard about them already, yes? 3 sisters. The center one is the eldest. Cinderuva, a goddess of wisdom. For this, alchemists hold her in the highest. To her right is the middle sister, Sandaruva. As a goddess of wealth, she counts many traders among her followers. I see quote today, look at your life, look at your choice. Nope, I am a big believer in personal responsibility. And on the left is Minerva, the youngest sibling. She presides over the crafts and so is beloved by weavers. Although each is worshipped for different reasons, the sisters are usually portrayed together in these works, which people keep in their homes for good fortune. In like fashion to the Manusia, the deities of Eorzea preside over myriad aspects of life. And what of the Murga, if I may ask? The Murga hold power over nature. In ages past, they were revered as guardian deities in times of conflict. If you have occasion to visit our temples and ruins, you'll find their images there. Among them is a god who possesses a Gaja's head, and he is venerated as the progenitor of the Arcasadora. And then there are dragons. They occupy a special place in our history. You worship dragons too? It's said that an ancestor of the satrap, that's the ruler of Razahan, forged a covenant with a dragon divinity in ancient times. Is the main reason Urianger goes back? I don't think so, because he was actually hesitant to join the Fafnir team because it involved going to the Confluence, where he thought that Moonbreeder's parents would be. So it was actually almost kind of the opposite. He joined the Fafnir team kind of knowing that it would force him to meet them. But then, of course, you find out that they were reassigned to Sharlayan's secret project. This divinity has since acted as the guardian deity of the satrap. Legend holds that if ever the satrap is in need, his dragon ally will fly to his aid. Dragon ally. Oh, yeah, this is... Yeah, Estidian kind of can sense the presence of, like, the Elder Dragons, can't he? You claim to be a terrible storyteller, but nothing could be further from the truth. The passion you bear for your faith is plain to hear. I'm confident the information you've given us will serve us well in our efforts to deal with the tower. That is very kind of you to say. Thank you. I will pray for your success. Right, I believe it's time we sought out Kryl's acquaintance. An alchemist by the nature of Nidana. According to Kryl's notes, we're to find her at a place called the Great Work, further north along the coast. That's probably worse on him since he had to drag... Yeah. He's been struggling with it for a while, it seems. Not able to find the words to talk to them. Oh, someone's fighting a lot of the not Yugis. Did you say you're going to see Nidana? Oh, how I envy you. She's brilliant and beautiful, kind and understanding. And did I say she's beautiful? I could stare at her dainty ears and adorable trunk all day. And those eyes. When you meet her, take care you don't drown in them. I think someone has a bit of a crush. Right. Great work. I just followed a path, I guess. I think once I arrive at the great work, though, that might be a decent stopping point. Yeah, working up the courage to finally say what you want and then find... Yeah, I don't think that... I think the problem is Urianger doesn't know what he wants to say. He just knows he needs to say something. And it's the fact he doesn't know what he wants to say is why he hasn't. And I think it was a case of him thinking, if I put myself into a situation where I have to meet them, I have to say something. Even if it's not necessarily the perfect thing to say, at least I'm saying something to them. He's caught in the good old trap of overthinking. Also, yeah, I'm just remembering what's about to happen, but I was going to say I do think now we're in the great work. I'll probably be finishing it off fairly quickly, well, fairly shortly. Just yeah, because I feel this is a good stopping point. What happened here? If there was a battle, there's a conspicuous lack of blood. That's good, right? This wouldn't be anything like... What in the world? If our enemies are still Imperials, there's no way they could have used Black Rose, right? Estinian and Gaius destroyed all of it. In such manner did we find him. What could have befallen these people? No. Are you okay? You're alive, right? You're alive. Are you okay?
What happened here?
Their dress marks them as alchemists. I see no evidence of injury or poison.
Thinkest thou they but slumber?
I believe so. Whether it is by choice is another question entirely.
Oh, we have guests. You must excuse the poor welcome. Long days and longer nights have taken their toll, as you can see.
Hello.
I am Vashan, servant to the satrap. My task was, in fact, to wake these good men and women, if you will allow.
They're just...
People of the great work, I come bearing new scales.
Scales? We have new scales?
I like you don't realize what's it. Yeah.
Yes, my friends.
It is a nice little bit of foreshadowing.
I have them right here.
Scale? That's what will wake them up?
Oh, happy day. Now I can continue my experiment.
Many thanks.
One for me.
Those are dragon scales.
Dragon scales?
Yes, such materials are vital to their most pressing research.
And we are fortunate to have them. Our experiments are so close to bearing fruit. Soon we will have a talisman capable of nullifying the etheric emissions from that accursed tower.
But... Etheric... Wait, you mean like a shield against tempering?
Did I say something wrong? Are you not here with Varshan? Wait, who are you people?
We're with the students of Baldesion, I suppose.
Of course.
Kryl sent us.
You're the one Kryl sent. The warrior of light we've been waiting for.
Oh, that's right. I suppose you were waiting for me.
Ah, this is a day of celebration. Praise be to Cinderova!
The winds have shifted. I feel it. The end to our toil is near.
I feel it too. My head hasn't been this clear in days.
Tell me, how did you acquire those scales?
Curious that it concerns you so. But worry not. They were freely given by the dragon with whom our satrap has forged a lawful pact.
Ooh.
That is well.
You must be quite familiar with Dragonkin, yes?
Is this their congealed blood I see on your weapon?
Speaking of dragon blood, you yourself have been infused with it, have you not?
Did Kryl tell them about Stinian?
I should like to draw a file or two, if so. Now, see here. Come along, come along. I must insist that you visit our laboratory.
Should we help?
Cease your shoving, or so help me.
Oh, sorry. Put it as a don't ask me questions just made me compare Astinian to
the new scales and your timely arrival.
Terry from Kamen Rider Double, Axel. Just a, don't ask me questions.
No harm will come to him, I promise. Meanwhile, shall we find a quiet place to talk?
No. Right.
As you may have guessed, I am Nidana, the alchemist who sent the request to your mistress Kryl. We have workshops across the nation collaborating on this research project. But it is here, at the Great Work, where I collate our results. Come with me, all of you, and I can explain the crux of...
Oh, I just see where Terry gets. Oh, yeah. By all the kids. Hey, right. Guess while I see it, I should attune to it. So, Nidana, how can I be of help? Allow me to thank you for answering our call. Many towers have appeared around the world, and we are grateful that you would assist us with ours. Though Kryl herself is tied up with another investigation, Sorin is an eminently capable substitute, and we will spare no effort to aid you. So, if I understand correctly, you seek to make talismans that can nullify fewer commissions. Indeed we do. As you know, the tower emits vast concentrations of ether, but one cannot go anywhere near it without being tempered. As such, we can only study the tower from afar, and are powerless to deal with it in any consequential way. In order to strike back, the satrap bade us alchemists create enchanted talismans. Talismans that will allow our soldiers to venture into the tower, even should they lack innate protection. Could such a thing be possible? Admittedly, we are still in the midst of testing, but we are quite confident. Even prior to this, our people have long pursued countermeasures against the etheric corruption of primals. Of the methods tested to date, those utilizing dragon scales proved the most promising. Owing to their etheric density, the scales are highly resistant to disruptive forces. That's sorry, why is it? It's never clicked for me before, but the thing about etheric density. Dragons weren't on this world during the Sundering. They came from beyond, as we learned in Omega. So dragons are unsundered beings, right? Which would also be why there's no dragons in the first. Okay. Owing to their etheric density, the scales are highly disruptive to disruptive forces. The mightier the dragon, the greater the resistance. We seek to amplify this protective property through our alchemy. Midi is the forefather of all the dragons. Yep. I suppose it might make sense that kind of the newer the dragon, the less etherically dense it is, because maybe like the life kind of adapts to the level of ether present on Epheris. But yeah, at the very least, Midgardsormr and the First Brood would probably have unsundered levels of ether. Thanks to the scale yeah, because if I remember correctly what's mentioned in Omega, it's not just that the other dragons hatch, like the eggs hatched on Hydaelyn, but the eggs were still laid on the homeworld of the dragons. Midgardsormr just took them with him when he left. Thanks to the scales provided by His Excellency, we have been able to make steady progress with the talisman. Soon we'll be ready to conduct a field test. And here is where you and your blessing of light come in. Right. Oh. Just let me know what I need to do. Nothing complicated, I assure you. We ask only that you serve as an escort. I will explain in greater detail later, but you will be venturing into the tower's field of influence. And so, for your own safety, I would first test how well your blessing shields you. With your permission, of course. Right. In that case, Archons and I will find other ways to make ourselves useful. Seeing as you all work to the point of collapse, I suspect you could do with more hands. We would be grateful for any assistance you can provide. So you just need... If you're ready, then let us put your blessing to the proof. If you exit the Great Work and turn south, there will be a hill to the right. I will meet you at the top after seeing to some preparations. Alright. Yeah, I think I might finish there. I kind of would like to go to the end of the quest, but this... Yeah, I'll finish up here. Partly because I'm feeling the need to go to the bathroom as well. So I might as well. Finally into Endwalker. Oh. I know something that I feel... I'm looking forward to once... Yeah, I kind of noticed the habit of expansions to kind of they divide into two different zones at first. So I know we've got Sharlayan and Fandaniel, but I know once it's like a single linear track again, oh, the story definitely picks up. I'm looking very forward to it. Let's just register there. and a great work. New locations. But that's going to be the end of the stream for tonight. I'll be back, not tomorrow, but I'll be back on Thursday in the afternoon with more Persona 3 Reload. That'll probably just be some more looking around Tartarus and yeah, doing social link stuff. I don't think we'll be getting to the final battle tomorrow. And then I'll be returning with Sorin on Friday, where we'll probably finish up the Fandaniel stuff. And I imagine we'll get finished with Fandaniel and finished with the Sharlayan side of things. And then we can probably end the stream just as the plot's ready to start focusing on the main line. But with everything said, yeah, that's all for tonight. So, I was worried for a moment. My stomach decided to grumble there, and I wondered if the mic was picking that up. But yeah, for now, thank you so much for coming along. I really hope you enjoyed. And until next time I see you, I hope you have a good evening, have a good night, and goodbye.